The journey begins far from the noise of life. Not suddenly, but gradually, like a deep exhale that continues longer than expected. You are drifting now, in a space where thought has loosened its grip and memory feels light. There is no urgency here, no momentum you must maintain, only quiet movement forward. Below and behind you, Earth has begun to shrink. It remains visible, familiar in shape and color, wrapped in blue oceans and white clouds. But it no longer feels your entire attention. It is simply a place you once stood, a chapter still open, but no longer being read. The sky around you has deepened into a soft black. The stars are clear and steady, not twinkling as they do from the surface, but shining without interference. Constellations shift gently as you move, though not fast enough to notice unless you're looking for it. There is calm in their arrangement, a quiet reminder that the universe continues whether you watch or not. The sun is still bright, but at this distance it feels more like a warm memory than a presence. Its rays are thinner, softer, as though they are traveling through a great silence before reaching you. The warmth it once gave is now subtle but still familiar. As you drift farther, the inner planets pass in quiet procession. Mercury appears first, a small, cratered sphere, marked by ancient collisions and heat. It is a world with no air to carry sound and no water to shape life. Yet it moves with the same grace as everything else in space, steady and unbothered. Venus follows, wrapped in a dense veil of golden clouds. Its surface is hidden, mysterious, a place of immense pressure and quiet storms that never break into sound. It rotates slowly, almost reluctantly, as though time flows differently there. Earth remains behind, turning continuously, carrying oceans and forests and all the familiar forms of life. You watch it for a moment longer, acknowledging its presence without holding on to it. What it contains will continue without your attention. Mars drifts past next, red, silent, marked by the traces of rivers that no longer flow. Its mountains and valleys stretch out beneath thin skies, holding a history that is quiet and patient. It feels like a world in waiting, though waiting for what is unclear. The sun continues to diminish, though it never disappears. It becomes a warm point in the darkness, easily visible if you wish to look back. But your direction remains forward. The region you enter now is broader, more spacious. The planets are fewer and farther apart, and time feels stretched in a way that cannot be measured. Nothing rushes here. Movement is steady, and it does not require effort. Ahead lies the Kuiper Belt, a field of ancient ice and rock. Objects drift slowly through this vast region, shaped by cold and distance. They move in long, unhurried orbits that take centuries to complete. There is peace in their pace. Beyond this belt, at the edge of the known and the quiet beginning of the unknown, sits Pluto. It is small, distant, and softly illuminated by a faint sunlight that travels a great distance to reach it. Its surface is a tapestry of frozen plains, ridges, and gentle mountains made of water ice. It is a world of twilight colors and silent landscapes. Beside Pluto, held in a slow and graceful dance, is Charon. Not a moon in the traditional sense, but a companion. The two bodies orbit each other, not one circling the other, but both circling a shared center. They move together as though linked by a quiet agreement, one that has lasted for eons. The darkness here is not empty. It is full of distance, memory, and the soft presence of things that do not need to be seen to be understood. The stars are faint, not because they are gone, but because your eyes are adjusting to the quiet light of this region. You continue drifting, not descending, not approaching with urgency, but arriving by degrees. The vastness around you does not feel overwhelming. It feels open, calm, and gentle. There is time here, time to notice, time to breathe, time to simply be. Your journey toward Charon has only just begun, and the quiet of this place welcomes you. The distance continues to unfold in front of you, and Pluto gradually grows from a faint point of reflected sunlight into a small, round world with gentle shades of gray, blue, and pale gold. Its light is quiet, soft, not harsh or demanding, but subtle in the way moonlight reflects across snow. You move closer without pushing forward. The motion is smooth, almost effortless, as though space itself is carrying you. There is no sound here, no wind, no echo, no vibration. Even your thoughts seem to have softened into a quieter shape. Pluto's surface begins to reveal itself. Frozen plains stretch outward like calm lakes of ice that have not moved for millions of years. Valleys run slowly between low ridges, and distant mountains rise from the horizon like ancient shadows. They are made of water ice, strong enough to stand like granite in this cold. Light falls gently here. There is no day as you know it, just a slow, dim illumination that changes so gradually that time feels less like a sequence and more like a continuous breath. As you approach, the sense of scale becomes clearer. Pluto is not large. It is quiet in size as much as in presence. Yet there is something expansive about it. It does not need to be grand to feel complete. It simply exists, steady and unbothered. You drift above it now, close enough to see the soft textures of its surface, but still far enough that the horizon curves gently beneath you. The plains of Sputnik Planitia stretch like a frozen sea, smooth and pale, marked by slow-moving patterns that shift over spans of time too long to measure. These shapes are made by ice so cold it flows like quiet thought, not like water on Earth, but slowly across ages. To the west, the terrain becomes rougher. Craters and ridges rise and fall in quiet patterns, each feature shaped by a gentle accumulation of history. Nothing here rushes, nothing here forces. Time moves differently. As you drift forward, a shadow begins to form along one edge of the horizon. It grows slowly, gradually, emerging not with urgency but with certainty. At first, it is simply a darker curve, a shape against the dim light behind Pluto. Then the shape becomes clear. A sphere, silent, gray, present. Charon. It rises like a quiet companion into view, not startling, not dramatic, just there, as though it has always been waiting for this moment. The distance between Pluto and Charon is vast, yet they remain bound together by a gravitational balance as gentle as a held breath. They face each other always, turning in unison, never one without the other. You watch Charon emerge completely, its surface calm and muted, as though time here has found a deeper form of stillness. There are craters across its surface, large, rounded depressions where ancient impacts left their marks. But nothing about them feels violent, only slow, patient, settled. A darker region spreads across its northern hemisphere, like a soft shadow that never lifts, giving the moon a quiet, thoughtful expression. You drift between the two worlds now, suspended in the shared gravity of their gentle dance. The silence here is deep but not empty. It is full of presence. Not sound, no movement, just being. You feel the calm of it settle into you, a calm that is deeper than rest, deeper than quiet, a calm that does not ask anything in return. Charon continues to turn slowly below you, revealing its landscape in unhurried rotation. Ridges stretch across plains of frozen rock. Wide basins open into gentle slopes. There is no rush in any of it. You are not observing from a distance anymore. You are present, here, in the space between two worlds that have shared their solitude for longer than memory can hold. You drift lower, as though descending into a dream. The horizon curves beneath you, smooth and silent. Above, Pluto hangs in the sky, large, pale, and steady, always facing Charon just as Charon always faces it. Two worlds in stillness, two companions in silence, bound not by force,
but by quiet understanding. The air around you is nothing at all, yet it feels like being held. You continue your slow descent, not landing, but settling into this presence. There is nothing to do here, no instruction, no task, no expectation. Just arrival, just being, just quiet. Charon waits, and you are here.
Descent to the surface. You continue to drift in the quiet space between Pluto and Charon. The two worlds remain balanced, held together by a shared pull that has lasted longer than memory. Nothing here moves quickly. Everything unfolds slowly, naturally, as though time itself has become gentler. Charon turns beneath you in a steady rotation. Its surface is softly illuminated by the faint sunlight that reaches this far. The shadows are long, not sharp, and the light reflects in muted tones of gray and pale brown. There is no glare, no brightness, no harsh boundary between day and night. Just a gradual shift of tone. You allow yourself to drift lower, not falling, but descending with the same quiet weightlessness that brought you here. The surface of Charon grows clearer. It is marked by broad plains and wide, shallow basins. Craters stretch gently across the landscape, rounded and softened by ages of stillness. Nothing here is recent. Nothing is new. You approach one of these plains, a wide region of frozen rock and ancient dust. The ground is patterned not by wind or water, but by the slow settling of time. Each small ridge and shallow depression is the result of long, quiet processes that happened without haste. You come close enough to see the textures. The surface appears rough yet stable, as though it has not changed in a very long time. The ground is dry and silent, untouched by weather. There is no air here to move dust, no breeze to erase marks or shift patterns. Everything remains where it settles. You float a little closer until your feet or the idea of your feet touch the surface. There is no sound when this happens. No crunch, no echo, no vibration. Contact is simply contact, a meeting of stillness and presence. You stand now, if the word stand applies. There is no weight to you here. Gravity is slight, gentle, enough to give shape to motion but not enough to burden. The body feels light and effortless. Breathing continues at its own rhythm, unhurried. The silence here is deeper than space above. It is not empty. It is a silence that feels settled, ancient, complete. The horizon stretches far in every direction. There are no mountains rising sharply upward, no structures interrupting the view. Only slow curves of terrain, each feature blending gradually into the next. Above you, Pluto hangs in the sky, large, rounded, calm. Its soft colors reflect gently into the dark around it. The two worlds face each other, locked in an eternal gaze. It feels natural to look up at Pluto for a while, not searching for meaning, just observing the quiet of it. The distance between you and that surface is vast, yet there is a sense of connection, not separation. They are companions, these two worlds. You are simply present between them. You begin to walk, though the motion feels more like gliding. Each step covers more ground than expected, as though effort carries further here. The dust beneath you remains undisturbed. There is no breeze to lift it, no atmosphere to carry it. Everything remains where it settles. You float a little closer until your feet or the idea of your feet touch the surface. There is no sound when this happens. No crunch, no echo, no vibration. Contact is simply contact, a meeting of stillness and presence. You stand now, if the word stand applies. There is no weight to you here. Gravity is slight, gentle, enough to give shape to motion but not enough to burden.
The body feels light and effortless. Breathing continues at its own rhythm, unhurried. The silence here is deeper than space above. It is not empty. It is a silence that feels settled, ancient, complete. The horizon stretches far in every direction. There are no mountains rising sharply upward, no structures interrupting the view. Only slow curves of terrain, each feature blending gradually into the next. Above you, Pluto hangs in the sky, large, rounded, calm. Its soft colors reflect gently into the dark around it. The two worlds face each other, locked in an eternal gaze. It feels natural to look up at Pluto for a while, not searching for meaning, just observing the quiet of it. The distance between you and that surface is vast, yet there is a sense of connection, not separation. They are companions, these two worlds. You are simply present between them. You begin to walk, though the motion feels more like gliding. Each step covers more ground than expected, as the dust beneath you remains undisturbed. There is no breeze to lift it, no atmosphere to carry it. Everything remains where it settles. The landscape shifts gradually. A low ridge rises ahead. You move toward it, your motion steady and without strain. When you reach its crest, the view opens into a broad expanse, stretching until it meets the curve of the moon. The stillness here is complete. Not lonely, not cold in any emotional sense, just quiet. A quiet that does not require filling. You continue along the ridge, your pace smooth and unhurried. The surface reflects the faint sunlight in muted tones, like stone under evening light. There are no sharp contrasts, no sudden brightness. Everything blends gently. As you move, the sense of time becomes less important. There is no indication of minutes passing, no measure of distance traveled. Only experience unfolding moment to moment without pressure. You pause, not because you need to, but because the body naturally comes to stillness when stillness feels complete. The silence around you is the same silence within you. There is no separation between the two. Above, Pluto continues its slow rotation. Below, Charon holds you with effortless gravity. Between them, you remain balanced. There is nowhere to be, nothing to change, nothing to solve. Only presence, only quiet, only this.
Crossing the shadowed plains. You remain on the ridge for a while, simply observing the stillness that surrounds you. There is no weather to shift the air, no distant sound to break the quiet. The landscape extends outward in broad, gentle forms, each line of the terrain shaped not by movement, but by the slow settling of time. When you begin to move again, the motion is smooth and effortless. Your steps feel light. The ground beneath you remains unchanged by your passing. Nothing stirs and nothing resists. There is only quiet contact between you and the surface. Ahead, the land slopes downward into a wide plain. It stretches to the horizon, a level field of frozen dust and rock. The surface is softly textured, like sand that has been undisturbed for ages. No footprints, no tracks, nothing that suggests that anything has ever crossed here. You descend the slope without hurry. The movement feels natural, as though your body understands this environment without instruction. Charon's gentle gravity carries you forward without weight. There is no sense of effort or strain, only motion. As you reach the plain, Pluto rises higher in the sky. It hangs there, large and still, its surface faintly illuminated by distant sunlight. Its presence is steady, always facing Charon, never turning away. The two worlds remain connected in a quiet balance. Their orbits are slow and synchronized, not driven by force, but by a shared center they both revolve around, a point of stillness between them. You continue across the open plain. The landscape remains wide and uncluttered. Only occasional ridges break the surface, their edges softened by long stretches of time without disturbance. The horizon curves gently, giving everything a calm, rounded shape. There is no sense of direction needed here, no path to follow. Movement is simply movement. Each step is a continuation of the step before. Over time, the light begins to shift, not suddenly, but gradually, as though the entire moon is breathing in a slow rhythm. Pluto's glow softens, and the plain becomes a landscape of long, low shadows. The ground takes on deeper tones, muted gray and warm brown. The transition is smooth and unhurried. You walk for a while in this dim light, your shadow stretching across the plain in front of you. The shadow moves slowly, almost imperceptibly, responding to the slow turning of the system. The horizon begins to darken on one side. Not completely, just enough to suggest that Charon's night is approaching. But night here is not the absence of light. It is simply a softening of color, a deepening of quiet. You stop again and look upward. The stars are visible now in sharper detail, not twinkling, but steady and clear. Their presence is constant, not changing with atmosphere or weather. Pluto remains above, its surface facing you without rotation. The patterns on it are visible, smooth plains of nitrogen ice, darker regions of frozen rock, soft outlines of mountains. The two worlds watch one another, and you are here, in the space where their shared silence settles. You continue moving, though movement is less important now. Whether you walk or rest, the stillness remains. Charon does not require action. It simply allows presence. A shallow depression appears ahead, not deep, just a gentle basin where the ground curves downward. You approach it and descend without thought. The basin holds the same silence as the plain above, but the horizon is lower, the sky larger. You pause there. There is no reason to continue or to stay. Both choices are the same. Charon does not ask for decisions. It simply offers space. You sit or you rest in a way that resembles sitting. The posture is comfortable, supported by the gentle pull of gravity. The ground beneath you is firm, unchanging, cool. The silence does not feel empty. It feels complete. There is no sensation that anything is missing, only that nothing extra is needed. Time moves, but without rush. The light continues to shift, but without urgency. Everything here unfolds in long, steady rhythms. You look to the sky again. The stars are numerous and clear. Their arrangement feels vast, yet the vastness does not feel overwhelming. It is simply space. Pluto remains above, calm and illuminated in soft shadow. Its surface is distant, yet familiar now. Its presence feels steady, not imposing. You breathe in, slowly. The breath has no sound here, but the rhythm remains. You breathe out, and nothing changes. The quiet is not affected by your presence. The landscape remains still. The sky remains open. You remain held. There is no effort in being here, only being. The plains of Charon stretch endlessly behind you and ahead of you. But distance no longer means travel, and time no longer means measure. You are simply here, in a quiet that has existed for longer than memory, and will continue long after memory fades. The journey does not ask you to continue or return. It simply continues to unfold around you. There is nowhere to go, and there is no need to go. You remain. Nightfall and the slow turning of the sky. Night comes to Charon without drama. There is no sunset here, no sudden change from day to dark. Light simply softens, then fades, the way a thought drifts to the edge of awareness and slips quietly away. The plane around you grows dim, not black, not obscured, just deeper in tone. The details remain visible, but they are gentle now, low in contrast. Above, Pluto's surface reflects the faint sunlight that still reaches it. It glows softly against the dark sky, a steady presence overhead, always facing Charon, always watching. You remain seated, or simply resting, your posture supported by the low gravity and the stillness beneath you. There is no need to shift or adjust. The body feels light here. It does not ask for more. The stars appear in greater numbers as the sky darkens. They are clear and unwavering. There is no atmosphere to blur their edges, no wind to shift the air between you and them. Their light travels directly, crossing immense distances to arrive quietly in your gaze. You look upward for a while, not searching for meaning, just observing the steady pattern of light. Each star holds its place. Each distance remains what it has always been. There is no movement that you can see, but the quiet turning continues around you all the same. Charon rotates slowly beneath your feet. Pluto follows in perfect synchrony above. They hold one another in balance, neither dominating, neither submitting. A shared motion that has lasted longer than any voice, any structure, any memory of life. The plane cools slightly, though there is no air to carry temperature. The change is gentle, more like a shift in presence than a physical sensation. The environment remains steady, constant. You rise, or the idea of rising occurs, and you begin to move again, your steps quiet, your motion smooth. The soft gravity makes each movement effortless. There is no strain here, no weight. The land stretches before you in muted tones. Rocks and ridges stand where they have stood for ages, unchanged by wind or water. Time passes here, but it leaves no visible mark. It simply continues. As you walk, Pluto moves slowly across the sky. Not rising, not setting, but drifting with the rotation of Charon's surface. Its face remains the same, always oriented toward you. Its light remains constant, soft and quiet. The stars around it shift very slightly over long moments, but not fast enough to catch directly. Only when time has stretched do you notice the change. The horizon ahead dips gently into another shallow basin. You descend into it without intention, the motion guided by the natural curve of the terrain. At the basin's floor, the land feels even more still. Sound would not exist here even if there were something to make it. The silence is complete. You pause again. Stillness returns easily. There is no resistance to it. The body and the environment are in agreement. Rest is not something you do. It is simply what is happening. Above, Pluto's glow reflects softly across the basin. The basin opens gently outward, forming a quiet amphitheater of rock and dust. Its shape is natural, unforced. You stay there for a while, minutes or hours, though it does not matter. Time continues, but without direction. Your breath remains slow. Your awareness remains steady. There is no separation between you and the quiet. Night continues to unfold. The sky deepens. The stars remain. Nothing changes, and nothing needs to. You are here, in the stillness of Charon, under the soft presence of Pluto, surrounded by a silence that has known no beginning and will know no end. There is no purpose to this moment, no conclusion to reach, no future to anticipate.
Only presence. Only quiet. Only now.
The slow drift into the outer dark. There is no need to turn or prepare. There is no departure. Movement begins the same way rest began, quietly, without effort. You rise from the basin. The soft gravity welcomes the motion. Your steps are small, light, unhurried. Pluto remains above, its surface faint and calm, a quiet companion held in balance with Charon. As you walk, the horizon shifts, not quickly, not noticeably, just enough to remind you that distance still exists here, that space extends outward without edge. Your path leads toward a slight incline. The land rises gently. The slope is smooth. You do not feel strain. The motion is natural. At the crest, you pause. Not because you need to, but because there is room for stillness. Pluto hangs above you, silent and steady. Behind it, the stars continue their endless presence, each one fixed in the clarity of airless dark. You breathe, slowly. Then a shift. Not in the ground, not in the body. In awareness. The sense of place loosens. Charon remains beneath your feet, but the boundary between where you stand and where you might drift grows thinner. There is no change of speed, no force, no direction. You simply begin moving upward. The ground does not recede quickly. It drifts away at the same pace your thoughts drift. Slow, gentle, continuous. Charon becomes a quiet sphere, muted in color, soft in shadow, steady in its orbit beside Pluto. The two worlds remain together, turning without interruption. Their companionship has lasted for billions of years. It will last for billions more. You continue outward. The sun is still present, but distant now. Its light reaches you gently, diffused by distance alone. It no longer warms. It simply illuminates. Ahead lie other worlds. Eris, Sedna. Orbits so large they take longer than human memory can grasp. They drift in the deep outskirts of the solar system, where gravity softens and motion stretches across ages. They do not call or beckon. They simply exist, quiet, stable, unaffected by urgency. You pass among them the way a thought passes through the mind, without need to settle or define. Light grows thinner, not darker, just more delicate, more sparse. The stars take on a deeper contrast. The void between them expands. You are moving into the region where the sun is just one star among many. The solar system no longer feels like a place. It feels like a memory. Ahead is the Oort cloud, a vast sphere of ice and dust, a boundary not made of walls, but of distance. Each fragment drifts in isolation. Each one follows its own quiet orbit around a star that now appears as a small point of pale light. You are no longer traveling outward. You are simply existing within vastness. The space around you has no expectation, no direction, no center. There is only stillness, only distance, only quiet. The body feels light. The mind is unburdened. Thoughts appear softly and fade softly. There is no before, no after. Only the deep, calm presence of a universe that does not rush. You continue drifting, slowly, gently, without destination. The stars remain. The darkness remains. The quiet remains. You are here. And here is endless. Leaving the sun behind. The sun remains behind you, a pale point of light among countless others. Not gone, not lost, simply distant. Its warmth no longer reaches here. Its gravity no longer guides your motion. You have crossed a boundary where the solar system is no longer a place, but a memory. There is no sensation of moving away, no acceleration, no change in pressure. Motion is simply occurring, steady, continuous, unforced. The space around you is deep and quiet. The stars are more sharp here, their light unobstructed by dust or atmosphere. Their distance remains immeasurable, yet their presence feels constant, unchanging. You drift. Not toward anything, not away from anything, simply within. Ahead lies no structure, no map, no destination. The region between stars is vast beyond comparison. Distances expand into scales that cannot be held in thought. They simply are. Occasionally, a grain of dust passes through your field of view. It moves slowly, without resistance, without sound. Its path is its own. There are no clouds here, no currents, no turbulence, only openness. Your awareness rests easily in this space. There is no boundary between stillness and motion, between self and the environment. The distinction dissolves. Time does not move quickly or slowly. It simply continues. Light from stars that formed before Earth existed travels beside you. Some of that light began its journey before the sun was born, before oceans formed, before memory. You observe it as it arrives, quietly. No meaning is required. No interpretation is needed. Light simply reaches you because it has traveled a path across an unbroken darkness. Your drift continues. Far behind, the solar system becomes a single point, no larger than any other star. Its planets, its moons, its quiet worlds are no longer visible. But they remain, turned in their orbits, balanced in their motion, unaffected by departure. You are not separate from them. You are simply at a distance. Ahead, a faint structure begins to appear. Not bright, not sharp, just a subtle gathering of light. A star-forming region, a cloud of dust and gas stretching across light years of space. Its shape is soft, uneven, shifting slowly over millennia. You approach without effort. The cloud glows faintly from stars forming within it. Their light is young, warm, quiet. The dust scatters that light, creating gentle gradients of color that blend into one another without boundary. There is no sound, no motion the eye can detect. Yet creation is occurring here. Hydrogen drifting into hydrogen, atoms drawing together, pressure rising over ages longer than memory. A star begins not with fire, but with stillness. You pass through the outskirts of the cloud. Particles float around you, illuminated by scattered starlight. They move slowly, gently, unaffected by urgency. You remain calm, breath steady, awareness quiet. There is no goal, no next step, no conclusion waiting. Only distance and presence within that distance. The cloud expands behind you as you continue drifting forward. Its edges dissolve into the dark. Its glow softens, then fades, but it does not disappear. It remains where it is, steady in its time scale. You move onward. The stars return to sharp clarity. The space around you is open again, still, uninterrupted. You have entered a region where nothing interrupts your motion, where movement has no direction, where stillness and travel are the same experience. You are here.
Not arriving, not departing, just here. Within the quiet, within the deep, within the vastness that holds everything without asking anything in return. The journey continues, without destination, without pressure, without end. Only space, only starlight, only silence.
Crossing interstellar space. The space between stars is wide, wider than orbits, wider than clouds, wider than memory. There are no landmarks here, no boundaries, no signs of distance traveled, only openness. Your motion continues, steady and unforced. There is no sensation of speed, no direction to measure, no point of reference to define movement. The nearest star is years of travel away. Its light reaches you now, but the star itself remains distant. A point without size, a presence without shape. The darkness here is not empty. It contains dust, atoms, particles of matter spread far apart, each one drifting on its own path. They do not collide. They do not gather. They simply move. You do as they do. There is no sound, not because sound is absent, but because sound has no space to exist. Nothing vibrates. Nothing carries vibration. Silence is complete. Your awareness remains steady. Your breathing remains slow. Your body feels light, weightless, resting without effort. Ahead, a faint star expands very gradually. Not bright, not large, just slightly clearer than the others. It is not closer. It is simply the direction your motion aligns with. There is no arrival to anticipate, no expectation of change. The star remains a point of light for a long time. Time passes in quiet continuity, not measured, not counted, not marked by events. Only the slow shift of stars across the dark reveals motion. You drift. Clouds of interstellar dust appear and fade. They are thin, spread across vast distances. Their edges glow faintly when a star is behind them. Otherwise, they merge with the black. There is no horizon, no up, no down, only space, evenly in all directions. The star ahead grows slightly larger. Its light is steady, warm in tone, but distant in presence. You do not approach quickly. Movement here is measured on scales longer than memory. You continue. The space around the star brightens gradually. A soft gradient of light spreads outward from it. Not intense, not sharp, just present. The star becomes a sphere of pale glow, not the size of a sun seen from a world, but larger than a point. Around it, small objects orbit. Dust, ice, fragments of matter. They are faint, barely visible except in reflected light. You pass through their region without contact. Their orbits remain unchanged. Your motion remains smooth. There is no interaction, only coexistence. The star drifts behind you as you continue forward. Its light fades slowly. Its color softens. It returns to being a point among points. The pattern repeats. Another star appears, then another, each one distant, each one steady, each one silent. Interstellar space is not empty. It is simply vast. It holds everything with room to spare. You move through it without resistance, without effort, without destination. Breath continues, calm and even. Awareness remains steady, quiet and clear. There is no urgency, no arrival, no conclusion. Only presence, only distance, only the long, quiet drift between stars. Distance without end. The stars remain around you, clear, steady,
unmoving in their positions, though each one travels its own path across spans of time too long to witness. Your motion continues, smooth, effortless, unaffected by direction or destination. There is no center here, no reference point, no world beneath your feet, only open space extending evenly in all directions. You drift. The light from distant galaxies reaches you at a steady pace. It does not brighten, it does not fade. It is constant. Each point of light is a collection of stars, worlds, matter, and motion. But from here, they remain quiet. There is no need to imagine their details. Observation is enough. Ahead, a faint glow stretches across space like a thin thread. Not sharp, not bright, just present. It is part of the cosmic web, a structure of galaxies arranged across distances beyond measurement. The thread does not guide you. It does not draw your motion. It simply exists in the same space you do. You drift beside it for a long moment. No contact, no interaction, only coexistence. The thread fades as distance increases, not disappearing, just becoming less visible against the depth of space. Your motion remains smooth. No forces interrupt, no events occur, no boundaries appear. The stars maintain their positions. The darkness maintains its depth. The silence remains complete. There is no before, no after, no direction to return to. Only the present, steady and unbroken. Your awareness rests, calm, even, unhurried. Breathing is soft, rhythmic, unforced. The body is light, weightless, resting without instruction. You continue drifting through a region where distance is the defining feature. The stars thin slightly, not absent, just spaced farther apart. Light becomes more delicate, more subtle. Time remains continuous, not measured, not marked, only experienced as a steady unfolding. You drift. There is no need to move differently, no need to choose direction, no adjustment to make. Space accommodates all motion. Silence accommodates all thought. Awareness continues, clear, quiet, present. The universe does not end. It does not narrow. It does not conclude. It remains open, vast, calm. You exist within it, effortlessly. There is nowhere to reach, nowhere to depart, nowhere you need to be. Only here, only now, only the continuous, silent drift through infinite space.